coming up on Mic'd Up.
Hope is such a powerful force. It is such a powerful force. And I feel like it's everything that I live by is just, being hopeful, and things will work out as they work out, and just have a kind heart as you try to navigate life. Anyone can be kind and anyone can be, hopeful. And if you surround yourself with the right people, you're going to build a community of just really humble, really good people that want to help. It's about taking those loyal followers and turning them into charitable givers. So basically, if we have a charity campaign that we're working on, which I'm a big proponent for, really making sure that whatever we do, we're giving back as well. So we're not just finding good stories, we're making good stories happen.
Welcome to Mic'd Up. I'm your host, Mike DeChocho, and on my show, I interview entrepreneurs, award-winning authors, entertainers, business leaders, athletes, and other talented individuals who I personally invited to join the show to inspire you to be brave and bold in pursuit of your dreams. If you dig this show and are looking for more inspiring content from incredible people, click the subscribe button and you'll be notified of each episode release. Subscribing is free and it means the world to me that you've chosen my channel to tune into. You can give a gift of thanks and appreciation for providing this content to you. Simply visit patreon.com/mikedup. MIKEDUP. Any amount is greatly appreciated and totally unexpected. I welcome you to connect with me on my other social channels as well. All links are clickable in the description to make it even easier to connect. Thank you again for tuning into Mic'd Up. Enjoy the show. Our guest today is a professional storyteller with a background in television and print journalism, leaving her career as a local news reporter to work for Make-A-Wish, Western New York, and helping to make life-changing wishes come true for children battling critical illnesses. Welcome to the show, the founder of Hope Rises, my friend, Kate Glaser.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here.
Super honored to have you back on the show. You were one of my first guests, actually. I don't know if you knew that right out of the gates. And I was just humbled that you came on the show then. And that was 2 years ago. So it's like, holy smokes, we got to get Kate back on the show and bring everybody up to speed. And that's what I'd love to do today. So you ready to rock and roll?
I am. I'm so honored that you have me back because I feel like you've made such improvement and so many strides and just really worked your way up as well. So it's cool to reconnect and talk all about how you've succeeded so much in the past 2 years as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely was rough around the edges. My mentality was go, 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 like figure it out as you go, kind of build the paper airplane and throw it. Now it's like, okay, well, maybe you need the parachute too and some of those other things to protect yourself on the way down. But I do know personally, if I didn't do it that way, I wouldn't have got started. Everybody's different. To me, 1 foot on land, 1 foot in the sea is real easy to take that foot off once you put it in the water and you don't feel any support underneath it. You're like, and I'm back over here. I needed to take the lumps. I know it wasn't the best way to go about it, but for me, it worked. And I appreciate that because things are definitely in a whole different trajectory today than when you first sat down and I interviewed you just 2 short years ago.
And I'm here to see it because I just love supporting you. I love just motivating you and you motivating me. I just feel like, we are only better together as we both move in our journeys. So thank you so much.
Yeah, a little backstory, guys. Kate and I actually went to Buffalo State College together. I know I mentioned it in the first interview as well, but we weren't like necessarily friends, and that wasn't intentional or not intentional. I think we had maybe one class out of 4 years together. I didn't know you previously to Buff State, so it wasn't like we were looking for each other to connect in the moment, but it was cool because I saw you, I was behind the camera, either producing, directing, whatever I was doing behind the scenes, and you were on as a news anchor a couple of times for the school news, and I saw you go from there, which I didn't know. Let's be honest, some people were in the class just to get like an easy A or just kind of coasting, but you were really good. And then you actually did it professionally, letting everybody know that Kate went on and had a professional career in front of the camera and also doing some post-production work. You got your hands dirty there. And then you've gone into some really cool journeys that we're going to talk about in a second. Before we do, guys, check out hoperisesnews.com. You're going to be so inspired when you go there. Go to Facebook, go to Instagram, check out Hope Rises. Everything's clickable in the show notes. If you guys are new to Kate and learning about Hope Rises, they're a good news platform with over 6 million weekly reached on social media. And they've helped raise over $150,000 for individuals and causes in the global community now. And they're helping those in need when you look at their posts, it's all about shining light on these beautiful children, these stories. It's not always kids. It could be anybody from 1 day old up until 100 years old or plus, that these stories are hitting your heart. I see them. They always stop and make me go, wow. Like literally, they make me pause. And I have to laugh. There's a lot of times when I'm scrolling and I see something and I'm like, this is perfect for Hope Rises. And then I look up and it's actually from Hope Rises.
Well, I appreciate that because finding content is always really tough. So now that we're growing, content's kind of flowing into us, which is great. So, it's a full-time job in itself just to kind of find the content that really inspires people to want to stop and be like, oh my gosh, this is so great. This really hits my heart in such a great way. Now that we're growing so much, it's so nice to see these messages not just come from like New York State where we are or the US. They're coming from all different countries, people engaging with us and wanting us to share their posts or their stories. And it's kind of like they're letting me into their lives, which I feel so privileged for that.
The following is amazing to see. And it goes to show that there are good people in this world that want good news. And a lot of times we can be brought down. And I understand like the actual news and local news, international news, national news, whatever it is, whatever you're tuning into, does serve its purpose. I'm not trying to totally knock news in general. But at the same time, there's a lot of it that could just weigh you down, right? We got COVID going on the last couple of years. It's weighing us all down. And I do encourage people to go and find out about these good stories that are happening that bring us up. Hope rises. It's literally like it means what you think it means. And you've done so many cool things. And I want to start off with the Facebook post where there was the older gentleman in the grocery store and the little guy was helping him out. And I want you to share that because I think that was one of your first viral posts that had me see Hope Rises and then also connect the dots with you and Hope Rises. And then we did that interview a couple of years ago. And since then, it's been ridiculous growth for you. So share that story, how that was kind of the spark. And then also just how did that first light bulb moment hit where you go, I'm onto something and this is what I want to pursue? If you can kind of share those two things.
Yeah, I mean, I think that any viral story, obviously, you really realize that your page is resonating with people. So like that was our first viral post for Facebook. And it was simply a story that we had found and we had asked the woman who posted it if we could share it and kind of engage with our platform. And it did go viral across the world, which was amazing and got us some really amazing fans all across the world. So then we start to build our loyalty on these pages where we start to, hit them with more stories that kind of impact their heart. But it's not just about that. It's about taking those loyal followers and turning them into charitable givers. So basically, if we have a charity campaign that we're working on, which I'm a big proponent for, really making sure that whatever we do, we're giving back as well. So we're not just finding good stories, we're making good stories happen. And I'll tell you more about that in a second. But so basically, just these viral videos and these viral stories are so great for us because they're introducing people that wouldn't otherwise know about our platform and they introduce them to Hope Rises. So we recently had one go viral on Instagram and we always teetered that like 3,000, 4,000 followers and we could not grow Instagram for some reason. Just didn't catch on, but we had a viral post a couple of months ago that took our followers up to 300,000 followers. And it's just incredible. And now we have so many loyal people that want to be able to give back. And I think that's the biggest thing is if we can motivate them to come into our sort of community of hope and love and kindness and not just be readers of a Hope Rises platform, but also give back if we are raising money for a certain cause or we're doing something in the community to help someone else who's in need, that's kind of where I feel that I find the success because I want to be able to change the world. And it's not just about really hopeful stories, but also raising money, which we've done. So that's kind of where it clicked for me that like, yes, we have so many amazing stories and viral stories, but turning our loyal fan base into givers is kind of where I feel there's the biggest potential and just the biggest impact on my heart personally.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Like you had the right purpose in your heart. 3,000, 4,000 followers, by the way, is not easy. A lot of people don't hit that and it's hard to do that, right? Everybody's looking for the same amount of attention and there's only so much you can get.
Sure.
So for people to tune into your channel and follow you and go back to the source again, it's not an easy thing. But you knew that that wasn't really your end result. The end result is making a difference with these families. And obviously monetarily is a big way to do it. And there's other ways to do it. Get them more exposure on their channels too. Like you're promoting other people. It's not me, me, me. And I notice that you get out of the way. It's Hope Rises. You're kind of someone who's built the engine a little bit and got the engine down the road. And now it's this thing that it's bigger than only yourself. And there's so many advocates for it.
It's funny you say that because so many people don't even know who runs Hope Rises. They think it's like a big company. I have people contact me and they say, are you the marketing person for Hope Rises? And well, no, I'm the founder of Hope Rises, but I don't really insert myself into these stories too much, which I really am trying to change because I do feel like there is a way that I can really sort of market myself in a way that's very hopeful and good news sort of way.
For sure. Yeah, there's some personal branding, Kate, that I encourage you to do because the reason that they're reaching out is because they want to know where this started from and that you have a story.
Yeah, and they want to know that it's a mom of 3 kids that works full time and also does this. It kind of just brings a personal connection to it. So when you're messaging Hope Rises, you're really messaging myself or my husband who's also on the accounts, but it's very, very personal. So I think that's been great to kind of see, okay, for 2022, I want to put myself out there a little bit more and partner with people like you, Mike, who are in the community doing amazing things as well. So I feel like there's some really powerful things that come from that. But I have so much fun running this. It's a lot of work. I don't always get paid for it. I'm really not monetizing this platform. I'm starting to think about ways to do that, but really just to kind of be able to give back. And what we've been able to do for so many people, even just around the holiday season, just being able to adopt 18 families. That's 18 families that have been impacted by the Hope Rises, mission, but so many donors that kind of contacted us and said, we want to partner with you. We trust your brand and we feel like you can really help us kind of bless other families. And I've spent this past week dropping off gifts and the amount of tears that I've gotten from so many families who just like, you changed Christmas for us because we wouldn't be having a Christmas this year without it. So that to me is the best gift. It's just, that is why we run Hope Rises. That's why I started it, was to kind of be this engine of good. And like you said, just kind of moving forward and bringing hope into the world. And I'm just one person, but I'm one person that's kind of helping others connect to be able to give back in a greater way. So that's kind of how I view it. And gosh, right before this podcast, I got a delivery of flowers from a family that we adopted. Like, I don't need anything in return, but if I can do something to help others feel loved, that is why we run Hope Rises. And that's why I really encourage people to kind of come into our community and be able to help others with us.
Well, I'll tell you what, you mentioned Christmas is ahead of us. When people are listening and hearing this, no pun intended, talking about Christmas, we're going to unpack a little bit of that. But this is actually releasing in the early new year. And that was intentional for me because you have so much that's coming down the road here that is very fresh. And I want us to talk about that in a moment. And also, I wanted to kick this off with that positive energy. I was getting a little bit away from it. One of the goals I'm mic'd up is to talk to people from all different walks of life. It's not always the founder of a company, but a lot of times it is. It could be anybody. And my mission of the show, as you very well know, is to inspire people to be brave and bold in pursuit of their dreams. And you're doing that. You've left opportunities to create new opportunities, not knowing if any monetary gain would come from it. And that wasn't your initial purpose. And now that's starting to happen. And getting a gift like that on your porch is just a reminder of people's gratitude for what you're doing. And then I wanted to say this. You maybe don't think of this enough, but you're a great leader because you're willing to do it all yourself. You got the help of your husband. You have your family. Basically, is the heartbeat of this company starts from a home in Western New York. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you're a great leader in that you also partner up with the right people. And also you're likable and you're someone who obviously is very easy for me to get on the show and talk to because you're not this stuffy corporate. I have this news network and you need to talk to someone on my team to get me on the show.
No, I hope it never goes to that route.
Hopefully don't get flooded with 1 million. But that'd be great if you wanted and you could do all those interviews. But my point is you made it easy to connect with. You weren't stuffy or overly corporate about the whole thing. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone can be kind and anyone can be hopeful. And if you surround yourself with the right people, you're going to build a community of just really humble, really good people that want to help. And that's kind of what we've done with Hope Rises is we want to encourage people that are in it for the right reasons to come on board with us and really support and follow and see how you can help in your own way through the Hope Rises community. So absolutely.
And like I said, we're going to talk a little bit more about what's coming next. We're going to take a quick 60-second timeout. We will be right back with Kate. Podcasting is a great way to engage with your audience and stay consistently relevant. The only problem is you don't have the time or desire to produce your own show. You simply want it done for you. And that's where Social Chameleon comes in. All you need to do is press record and upload the files. We'll handle the rest. From planning, production, post-production, distribution, and digital marketing, we have you covered. We realize that times are tough and funds are tight, and Social Chameleon believes in building supportive business relationships. By clicking on the link in this promo, we'll provide you 7 free podcasting tips to get started, as well as a free 30-minute online consultation. This is the perfect opportunity for entrepreneurs, keynote speakers, industry experts, influencers, and anybody who has a personal brand. With Social Chameleon, we help you build a brand that is out of this world. We're ready and waiting, so what are you waiting for? Click on the link to get started today. All right, we're back in action. Let's dive right back in with Kate. She's going to share some of the up-and-coming exciting news with Hope Rises. And also, I'd love you to share your friendship. Share how you became friends with Sarah Grace Hallas, who is also now a mutual friend because you introduced her to me. But I'd love you to share that connection and what you guys have up your sleeve.
So, oh my gosh, I have so many great things to say about Sarah. I just absolutely love her. And I'm so glad that you guys are connected now. I actually discovered her story via social media and I reached out to her because I wanted to put her story onto Hope Rises. And we sort of created this like friendship via Instagram. So super random and super amazing that it brought us together. And we're very like-minded individuals. We are very, we lead by good heart and faith. And we just feel like we really connect on that level just based off of values and things like that. So her story is amazing. And I'm sure you'll talk more with her about her story, but basically she was going through a really rough divorce and she had no idea that she was also pregnant at the time. She had up and moved from her home state to Tennessee, and she moved in with this woman who she met via social media, and they never met in person, but they were kind of bonding over social media, which sounds so similar to what her and I are doing. But this woman actually helped her, deliver her baby. And she was in the delivery room with her. And she only had known her for a couple of months. But it was just a beautiful bond that was formed off of just a really hard situation. So a lot of our stories on Hope Rises are very tough stories that people have to talk about, but how hope rises from their tough situations.
Overcoming adversity is a hot topic on Mic'd Up. So I love shining light on those stories.
Absolutely. I feel like that is such a powerful look at like stories. Not everything's going to be like this amazing, sunshines and rainbows. I mean, whose life actually is like that? I mean, so she gave us permission to share her story. And then we started to like talk to her more. And her story kind of went viral on our social media. She has her own viral platform. She's kicking butt.
Yeah, she's cranking it. We're talking about Sarah Grace Hallas. Check her out on TikTok. I think she has over 500,000 now. So yeah, she's definitely cranking.
500,000 followers. Yeah, she's awesome. She is. So I don't even need to like promote her per se. She's doing her own thing. But we decided to actually get together and oh my goodness, am I allowed to like tell?
Yeah, let's do it. And this is early January, so I think the news is broken already.
Yeah, so we're going to work with Mic'd Up, and we are the company that Mike runs. We're going to launch our own podcast called Abundant Hope, which we're so excited about. So it's going to be myself in Buffalo, New York, and Sarah in Nashville, near Nashville, Tennessee. And we're going to come together and have really amazing guests on. We have a full lineup of people that we have talked it through, and they agreed to come on, and we'll promote it on Hope Rises. We'll promote it on her community called Abundantly More, which is amazing. So we're so excited. And the fact that we can work with you, Mike, is awesome because you are so talented. And just to keep us on a schedule, because we have so many things going on in our just professional lives and our personal lives. And, we are both moms and we both have the same age of babies right now. So like she has a little boy and I have a little girl, and just a lot going on, but we're so excited to be able to do this and just spread hope in such an abundant way. And I am so excited. I cannot wait. I think we're going to start in January and just continue going. And we're excited to be able to bring some of your platform into this and really just all work together to make hope shine in 2022.
Yeah. Can you see me glowing over here? I'm just so excited. Like the two of you connecting is amazing. And then the three of us like working together. But also I have to give a shout out to Social Chameleon, which is my company. And just like with you with Hope Rises, where you're kind of like you built the engine, you're getting out of the way. That's what I've done with Social Chameleon. And we went from doing all media platforms to really focusing on podcasting. And that, to share my story from the top of the show, when you said you've seen growth over 2 years, that was the key for me, was focusing on podcasting and connecting with people like you and Sarah who have these incredible stories that you want to get them out. I love producing that content, and so does my team. So we're like, I'll just sitting here waiting like for the new year to come so we can work on your content. But yes, thank you for the shout out on that. And we're super excited to partner Hope Rises, Abundantly More, and Social Chameleon all packaged together.
Yeah, and our podcast is Abundant Hope. I mean, hope is abundant. And just to be able to talk to some people, I mean, we have like guests that are coming on with like, 1 million followers that have agreed to talk to us. So, I mean, we feel like we are just so grateful for people trusting us to be able to tell their story. So stay tuned for so much more that we're going to have. And obviously we'll put everything on, Abundantly More where she is and Hope Rises and run all of that. But I'm just excited. And I think we're going to either have to bring Sarah to Buffalo and we take her out for chicken wings, or we're going to have to Tennessee.
Let's do both. I'd be happy because I've been wanting to go to Nashville forever. So any excuse to get out there. And I have other friends from Buffalo. A shout out to Christina Dene, who moved from Buffalo to Nashville, and she's cranking. And do you know Christina Dene?
No, I don't know her. No, I'm going to have to know her though.
Yeah, she was on the show as well. She's the lead singer in Breaker Box. And then also She has a caricature company called Big Head Cartoons. And so she does that professionally. And she like turned all of her talents into like one company with her partner as well, Scott. Shout out to Christina Dene. But yeah, Nashville would be fun. The two of us running around in Nashville with Sarah. That right there, we can do a little mini series on it.
Right? I feel like we should. We totally should. So I think there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. And, I have a lot of stuff professionally that I'm working. I mean, I'm actually going to be leaving my full-time job in 2022. I've worked at Make-A-Wish for close to 8 years combined. I was there for a little bit and left and came back to it, but I will always be involved. But I do feel like now is the time to kind of say, okay, there's so much ahead of me. I need to focus in on it. And I feel like I can only grow Hope Rises in as much time as I put into it. So I'm super excited for everything to come. I'm a little nervous, as you know, when you started your own business. I mean, it's a lot.
I want to jump in real quick because I know that feeling that you have, and you're not turning your back at all on Make-A-Wish. You've been there for 9 years, you said. That I met you there. We did the last interview in your office there, and you've done a lot there over 9 years in so many incredible ways that I know you don't even give yourself credit for. And I think it's time. I think it's time that your own wings are grown. You're not saying, hey, what you guys are doing isn't great. You love and appreciate them and are probably still going to work with them in some way. You have your own thing you're building, and this is your calling and your purpose. And it's not that they would have clipped your wings, I don't think, but for you to go as far in the direction that you want with Hope Rises, just like how far I wanted to go with Social Chameleon, I knew that working like a corporate 40-hour job plus trying to do it wasn't going to work because I wouldn't have enough time to put the right energy. So it would have been kind of mediocre for a long time. And I'm using that word for Mike, saying like I would have not been able to do the right amount of effort. And for you, you've been doing a crazy, amazing job, including being a mom and a wife. And, you have your 3 beautiful kids and your husband, your 2 dogs you're taking care of, and you're doing Hope Rises. I personally believe that's the right decision because more of what you're doing is never a bad thing when you're doing Hope Rises.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I do think like as hard as COVID was, and we talked prior to COVID, I mean, COVID hadn't even hit yet when we had our last podcast, but as hard as it was, I almost feel like it was positive in a way that you could reassess everything that you're doing and just know like, okay, this is the most important thing in my life, or these are my main priorities for the future. And I do feel like it's altered people's ways of thinking into knowing that, okay, maybe I don't have to rely on a company to work for. Maybe I can do my own thing and really own that. And I think personal branding is huge. And that's why it's so important to have that personal brand, because if you do want to go on your own, you have to have that trust from other people. So I do feel like as hard as it was and as negative as COVID was in so many ways, I mean, I even had COVID when I was pregnant and how terrible that was. But the fact that it's kind of altered my way of thinking has been really beneficial.
Well, it's like I've talked about this. I've done over 100 interviews. I think we probably talked about it 100 times. When things happen to you, ask yourself, how did this happen for me, not to me? Nobody said, I want COVID when I'm pregnant. You certainly didn't raise your hand and say, sign me up for that. But it happened. And then you're like, well, what could I actually have learned from this experience that I wouldn't have learned without it? Because it happened. I was going to have to deal with it and figure it out. Wasn't able to change that. No magic wand. How can I actually better myself because of that crazy experience? I learned this. I learned that. I'm going to apply it to life. Anyone who's listening, whatever your adversities are that keep getting thrown in your face, say, you know what? This is going to make me stronger, because you get to choose how you react. If you get knocked down on the ground, do you either lay there all week, or do you get back up on Tuesday morning and say, I got 4 more days to go, 5 more days, 6 more days to go, however many days that are left in the week. And you do that. You have the right attitude. One more shout out I'm going to give here really helped Social Chameleon turn the corner in 2021 was working with Nate Hendresky, who is the founder of Navigator Bookkeeping. And we're going to run a quick little ad here that showcases what they've done for me and my personal story. Hey guys, it's Mike. I'd like to give a proper shout out to Navigator Bookkeeping. Look, for a long time, I ran my business without really understanding the full financial picture. I used my gut and my bank account balance to make decisions, which led to some poor choices and constant stress over my business's finances. I knew something needed to change. At the beginning of 2021, I made a decision that helped pave a more clear path for my business. I started working with Navigator Bookkeeping. Since then, my bookkeeping has been handled for me. I now understand the full financial story of my business, making important financial decisions much easier now, and it helps me plan for where my business is going. I highly recommend giving Navigator Bookkeeping an opportunity to help your business. Check them out at navigatingyourbooks.com. Again, that's navigatingyourbooks.com. It's time to know the full financial story of your business. All right, we're back here with Kate Glaser, the founder of Hope Rises, doing so many incredible things. Guys, go to hoperisesnews.com, like I said, and check out her social. That's all clickable in the show notes, because you're going to be blown away with some of these stories. We could do a 5-hour show and still run out of time talking about the amazing families that Kate and Hope Rises news feeds have been inspiring and literally making big changes. Not just we just taught this great story. The families are being impacted over $150,000, and that's numbers going to be blown out of the water soon with all the connections you have. Other thing I want to talk about quick is you mentioned how scary it is to go off and be your own entrepreneur, which is absolutely true. But I certainly want to encourage you and remind you that you have this amazing network of true friends and family here in Buffalo, and true friends and family all across the globe now. I'm saying family, just like we talk about Bills fans are family. People in this Hope Rises community are family. And you have someone like myself who I will connect you with anybody I can to help you out. So you're not going to fall and stumble and get beat up too bad, because there's a huge group of people that are standing underneath you going, go, Kate, we're all rooting you on. We're not going to let you fall. You're not going to fall down.
I love it. I feel like you just gave me an amazing idea. We have Bill's Mafia. We need a Hope Mafia.
Hope Mafia. There you go. Yeah.
Right?
Or your own thing. It doesn't have to have the mafia, but yeah, something similar to that.
Something similar.
That represents the community aspect, that we're all in this together, and we're going to rise each other up for sure. I love that.
Hope is such a powerful force. It is such a powerful force. And I feel like it's everything that I live by is just being hopeful, and things will work out as they work out, and just have a kind heart as you try to navigate life. And
you know what I think makes this all work too, Kate, is stories. People love stories. This is why Hallmark has its own channel. People love these stories. Your heart grows like the Grinch when he connects with the story and you see it grow at the end of the movie. It's because he finally connects. The lights turned on. And your stories, these are all going viral because they're really incredible stories. And that leads me to my next question, queued up nicely here, is think of it this way. You're the author and protagonist in your own life story, and you get to write the ending. God willing, you live a long and prosperous life. You're then looking back on it, you're reflecting on your entire life, and you get to define your legacy. What would that be?
Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question.
No, you do not have to give the polished answer. Just when it's all said and done and someone goes back and they're looking on Wikipedia in 2079, if it still exists, what does it say next to Kate Glaser's name?
I mean, just, making this world a better place. And, I started Hope Rises with the intention that if I could help one person and change their life in one way and make them know that this world is a good place, as much as like there is a lot of really bad things happening, this world is a good place and there are people that care about you, even if they're strangers. So I do feel like as long as you can certainly change one life, which I know we've changed countless lives through Hope Rises, that's why I'm making changes to kind of make this a full-time gig, because I feel like there's so much potential and we're kind of sitting on a gold mine that is so amazing and beautiful and kind-hearted. I'm just really excited for the future and to change even more lives through the power of storytelling and kindness and bringing people together.
As much as you've grown in 2 years since the last interview we've done together, like it still feels like it's just a surface, which is so, I just can't even put words to that. But here's something that I never realized. I've asked that question a ton on the show because it allows people to open up and we get to really understand. If we didn't talk about your purpose yet, it's getting revealed in that question. It's not designed to be a curveball. But one of the reasons I just realized this, that it helps asking that question unintentionally, is it makes the person who's answering it, in this case yourself, realize that in many ways you're already doing it. Did you notice that? Like everything you just said about your story, you're doing it already.
Yeah. And that's all I can ask for. And like maybe I get to like travel the world as well. That would be awesome. That's just a personal preference that I have because I'm like obsessed with traveling. So if I can just like experience different cultures and travel the world, that's also something, it's not really a legacy, but something I'd like to do before this world takes me and I'm no longer here. But I just love meeting people and talking with people and seeing how we can connect and help each other. I mean, I feel like that's how I live my life.
Yeah. You're the perfect person for the role that you're in. I know you're God-centered and that shows in what you do. Your actions speak louder than your words. You're not out here just saying you want to do this stuff. You're doing it, but I know it's for him, through him, and I see that and feel that. And that to me is what inspires me to remember, am I doing this for him, through him too, in different ways? It's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you lead a life, and not everyone leads a life by faith, but I feel like it works for me and it keeps me grounded and centered. And whenever I'm having difficulty, I say a prayer and I feel like it just all works out. And maybe that's just because things are working out the way they should be. But I firmly believe in faith and just making sure that I'm leading through what he would want, for me and for this world. So, yeah, I mean, that's what Hope Rises is all about. And I will say that when I was younger, I went through a really rough time. Not a traumatic experience growing up, but I definitely didn't grow up in the best of circumstances. And I feel like I had certain change makers that kind of helped me, and they were not always in my life for years. Sometimes they were in and out, but they really changed my life. So if I can be that force for someone who really is going through so much, especially a child, which we do a lot for children, it changed me because, where am I today? I'm sitting right here talking to you about this platform I built up. Would that have happened without these change makers? I'm not sure. So I think that even just the smallest acts of kindness can really change a life.
It's life-changing moments. I had this conversation a few episodes ago with Clint Palver, who had a life-changing moment. And if you're hearing this, thank you for being here towards the end on YouTube or Apple or Spotify, wherever you're tuning in. But go back and listen to Clint. He talks about life-changing moments. And as Kate said a second ago, it's not always these really like long, in-depth, expansive moments with people over time. That those certainly build up and make many, many moments. It could be a teacher that says something to a student that just sparks something. It could be one of your social posts that sparks something in someone. It could be the moment that someone's heart grows like the Grinch because they've seen one post, or you drop something off on someone's porch as a Christmas gift and you bless them and they never asked for it and they don't even know who it's from. And it changed the belief in Christmas, right? That it just sparks them. And those are just a couple things that pop in my head. But yeah, beautiful moments in life can be just that one singular moment or many moments. And a lot of times what I love about your platform is it's not giving $100,000 check is the only way that people can help you. It's sharing it on Facebook. It's just being kind to their neighbor in response to them seeing you do something of kindness. That's all you're asking. Kindness happens if you don't record it on Instagram, just so everybody knows. It's like you don't have to, but the beauty in showcasing it is that it inspires others to do it, which is what is beautiful about your platform.
Yeah. I had this conversation. I had posted a video of a boy getting shoes for Christmas from his classmates, and all the students had their phones out. And a lot of people on the post, they were like, why would anyone tape that vulnerable moment? And like, why would anyone record this? They should just be giving shoes to him because they care. But then how would we be able to promote this amazing act of kindness and really inspire other people? So I think it goes like twofold. Like either you see it that way or you see it the other way. But I almost feel like those are the stories that we rely on to be able to, promote kindness and explain why it's so important. As long as the person on the receiving end is okay with it, that's necessary. But maybe it motivated him to just be better and feel better and know that he's loved.
Encouraging everybody, and myself included, and I talked to Sarah about this, the reason that her channel has blown up on TikTok is not because she's doing these extremely polished videos where her hair is always done. And she's literally just talking to people in the moment, sharing her heart, and people see it, they feel it, it's real, it's vulnerable. And that is what connects. Now, not saying that the more polished stuff isn't great too, but my point is don't always wait till you think you have it all figured out to share your story with someone, because when it actually has the most power, I feel like, is when it's real, opposed to it being told, like Forrest Gump telling someone his story, like on a park bench, hits a heart, opposed to like needing it to be served up in this like multimedia thing. So I think that's real. I'm going to say 3 things and let you go. I'm adding to this. It's be great, be grateful, and be kind.
I love it. It was great to talk to you, Mike. Thank you so much.
Kate Glaser, thank you so much for your time. Hope rises. Merry Christmas to you. I know this is coming out after Christmas. Happy New Year. Looking forward to getting the podcast launched.
Yes, let's get it launched. Thank you.
I'd like to give a huge shout out to everyone for tuning in, especially those who listen all the way to the end to hear this message. Seriously, I appreciate you, and my guests do as well. Giving a quick reminder to subscribe to this show. It's completely free and will allow you to receive notifications when new episodes are released. If you'd like to provide a tip as a gift, you can do so via patreon.com/mikedup. It's spelled MIKED up. Patreon.com/mikedup. You can give as little as $1 per month or as much as you'd like. Every dollar is greatly appreciated and completely unexpected. Appreciate your reviews and your messages coming in on social as well. Keep them coming. Your feedback is valuable and absolutely means the world to me. You can check out more episodes and content at mikeduppodcast.com. We're powered by Social Chameleon. You can also follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active, and it's at Mike DiCiccio, MIKEDICIOCCIO. Thank you so much for your continued support. You guys know what to do. Be great and be grateful.